roasted cauliflower florets in a Silan and mustard sauce. How good does that look? Sally, that girl, in the kitchen. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally, that girl in the kitchen. I'm so happy to be back in my kitchen, and I am so happy that you are here with me today. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to make roasted cauliflower in a Silan and mustard sauce. So if you're not familiar with Silan, Silan is date syrup. It is made 100% from dates. It doesn't have any sweeteners added to it because dates, when they are turned into this delicious syrup, are super sweet. They almost have a molasses flavor and consistency to them, and they are absolutely phenomenal. They're used a whole lot over in Israel and the surrounding countries of the Middle East. It's a very popular ingredient over there, and not so much here in the States, but I think it's underrated because it is so delicious and it's nutritious, it's good for you. And as a plus, it doesn't spike your blood sugar the way that adding sugar to a recipe would. So I've been using it to replace sugar in a whole lot of recipes. And while I was experimenting, I came up with this delicious roasted cauliflower with Silan and mustard and just the right amount and the right combination of spices. And it is super delicious. So I am super excited to teach you how to make it. So let's not wait another second and let's get started. For today's recipe, you will need 1 whole head of cauliflower, a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, a 1/4 cup of Silan date syrup, a 1/4 cup of yellow mustard, a tablespoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which of course is optional, and of course you can add more or less to taste, and some non-stick cooking spray. You will also need a cutting board, a paring knife and a chef's knife, a spoon, either silicone or wooden. You'll need a large bowl, a large colander, some paper towel, and you'll need either a 9x13 baking dish, or you can use a tray as long as it has sides. For this recipe, since it's a bit saucy, I prefer using a baking dish. It just makes for easier cleanup. I could just pop it in the dishwasher, and I don't worry about lining my tray with parchment since I'm going to be finishing this under the broiler. You'll also want a wet measuring cup and some measuring spoons, and you're going to need some oven mitts. So now that we have all of our ingredients and tools together, let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 425 degrees, making sure you have a rack placed in the center. So first we're going to prep our cauliflower. What we're going to do is we're going to use our paring knife to help remove those outer leaves and of course the stem in the center. So what we want to do is remove all the leaves and then very carefully also remove the stem, because what we want are those beautiful florets. Of course, you can buy loose florets instead, but I think that pound per pound, this is a much better deal. And look at how gorgeous and how huge these florets are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my chef's knife and I'm going to cut these down a bit because I don't want huge chunks. So all I do is break down the larger florets just a bit. And you'll notice that the more florets we remove, it's going to be easier to take them off the stem. At some point, we won't even need our paring knife. You're just going to be able to pull those florets right off of that stem because really we've removed most of it. And then just make sure to toss out the rest of that stem and to break down your florets so they're all a similar size. As a side note, I will mention the leaves and the stem are edible. If you chop them real small, you can roast them, you can boil them. They're definitely edible. So if you prefer to save those, you can definitely cook them too. Then grab your florets, place your colander in a clean sink, And then you want to add your florets into your colander because you want to make sure to wash our cauliflower. So it's really important that we wash our cauliflower well, but we also don't want our cauliflower wet when it's time to roast. So we're going to do this right away. We're going to shake it really well, and then we're going to take our florets and we're going to pour them out onto paper towel right on our counter. We're going to spread those florets out, and we're going to dab them really, really well with some more paper towel on top. And then we're just going to let them sit there until they dry. Now we're going to prepare our delicious sauce. So I'm adding a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil into a wet measuring cup. And then what I like to do is right on top of that, I add a 1/4 cup of my date syrup, of my Silan. I love how the Silan is more dense, so it goes to the bottom and the olive oil rises. And then right on top of that, I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of yellow mustard. So as you can see, I'm not measuring. I'm just checking at eye level as my measurement rises. 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup, 3/4 of a cup. We're good to go. So now right on top of that, we're going to add a tablespoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, a 1/2 teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and I like to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, but it will give it a bit of a kick. So if you're afraid of spice or not a big fan, you can go with 1/8 teaspoon, or you can omit it completely, but I definitely like a little kick, so I'm going with a 1/4 teaspoon. Now, of course, if you like it really spicy, you can add as much as you'd like. Then all I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with my spoon and I'm going to give this a really good stir because I just want it all well incorporated. I want all of those dry spices mixed into our delicious sauce, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I'll give you another tip. This stuff is good on pretty much any roasted vegetable you could think of. You can add it before cooking. You could add it on top of vegetables that you've roasted. No matter what you do with it, it's absolutely delicious. So as you can see, my cauliflower florets were dry. I added them to my large bowl, and then I'm just pouring the entire mixture on top, and I'm using my spoon to make sure that I get all of that yummy goodness. Don't want to leave any of that behind. And then I just want to mix this really well because I want to make sure that all of the florets get some love from this beautiful sauce. Then I'm going to spray my 9x13 baking dish, and then I'm just going to bring over that bowl and I'm going to pour all of my florets into my prepared dish. And once again, make sure to get all of that yummy goodness. Don't leave any of that behind. I'm going to put this down for a sec just to make it easier to scoop out whatever little bit of sauce is left in my bowl. And then we're ready to go. We're going to place this beauty in the oven, and look at how pretty it is before it's even roasted. Those florets just look absolutely beautiful, and they're going to be so delicious. Trust me on this, so good. So you're going to place it on a center rack, and we're going to set a 25-minute timer. But after 25 minutes, we're going to pull it out, and then we're just going to stir these guys around. They're steamy. That sauce has loosened, but it does thicken up a bit again once it cools a bit. So what we want to do is we want to place these guys back in the oven, and we're going to set another 5 minutes to let them finish cooking. And then after 5 minutes, we're not going to take them out. We're going to turn our light on so we can keep an eye on these. And then we're going to switch our oven to broil, and we're going to set about a 3-minute timer. But remember, you don't want to walk away at this point. You want to keep an eye because you're just looking for the tops to get a little toasty. And then once you're satisfied with the color, look at how beautiful and sizzling these florets are. You're going to bring them out, and they smell incredible, and they're so yummy and so easy. You saw, we literally just made our sauce in a measuring cup, add our dry spices, And then look at how beautiful and golden they become. Look at that one in particular. That looks gorgeous. So of course you can leave these in a couple of extra minutes if you want it toastier, or if you prefer not to get those toasty bits, then pull them out before. This is really up to you, but I like them nice and toasty. That piece there, that's the one I'm going in for. That's right, because I absolutely love that yummy roasted flavor. And this sauce, as you can see, it's still a bit runny because this is hot right out of the oven, but it will thicken up a bit upon standing. And honestly, it's delicious like this. It's delicious cold. It's delicious room temperature. Bottom line, it's absolutely delicious. So yes, I am not going to be observing these for too much longer because I just want to spoon over that yummy sauce and dig in. Look at how beautiful they look, nice and roasted with that yummy sauce. And that yellow mustard is not overpowering at all. It balances so well with the Silan, the olive oil, the dried spices. It's just perfect. And look at that gorgeous color. So yummy. So good. It's absolutely delicious. I went in with a small bite first because it is hot. So I'm going to cut these down just a little bit because they're still quite hot. I just pulled this out of the oven, but that sauce is so good and they're just so perfectly roasted. Look at that color. Absolutely beautiful. So, so good. Color is flavor after all, and this has so much flavor. Mmm, so delicious. You're gonna love it. So how crazy good does this cauliflower look? I absolutely love it. Funny enough, a few weeks back, I made this recipe for the first time, and my best friend was hanging out at my house, and she decided to stay for dinner. And she has told me multiple times since then that she didn't eat the entire cauliflower herself because she just wanted to be nice and just kind of make sure that there was some leftovers and, cauliflower to go around. But she was happy to have had just that for dinner because it was absolutely delicious. I had served it with a piece of mahi and it was just absolutely phenomenal. And I got inspired. And of course, she encouraged me and said, you have to film it because it's super tasty. It's easy to make. You just pour everything together, add the spices in, stick it in the oven, and out it comes. And it is absolutely delicious. That sauce would be good on a shoe. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I know you're going to love it. Trust me. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're going to have to try to make this recipe yourself. And of course, if you enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to like it, to write me a sweet comment, which I absolutely love when you do, to share it with your friends, to share my channel with your friends. I so appreciate when you do that. When I hear from people through my social media and they tell me, oh, my friend found your channel. She shared it with me because you cook a lot of the things that I grew up eating. Of course, you guys know my specialty is Sephardic Turkish dishes, but I like to cook all kinds of food, international food from all over the world. So I'm always throwing something in that I think might interest you. I basically film what I enjoy eating. So I hope that you enjoy it too. And of course, if you're not following me on social media, don't forget you can find Sally That Girl in the Kitchen on Facebook, Instagram, and on Pinterest. And you can find me as Sally That Girl FL on X, Snapchat, and on TikTok. And of course, don't forget I have an Amazon shop where I feature a lot of the tools that I use in my videos. You can find that at amazon.com/shop/ Sally That Girl in the Kitchen. But that link is also attached to my YouTube channel and to all my social media pages. So you'll be able to find it through there. And you can always shoot me a little message, especially through my Facebook or my Instagram, Sally That Girl in the Kitchen pages. I am very responsive. If you reach out with a comment or you reach out with a question about a recipe, I do my best to always get back to you. So again, I want to thank you so, so much for being here. See you next time. Sally That Girl in the Kitchen.